So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
What's up YouTube? Dow here from Zephyr War Games, bringing you today a very spicy combination for Dragonmaid. Yes, they've actually got a lot better. They got two brand new cards in Eternity Code, which are featured in this profile. And I've also put in a brand new engine that I haven't used before with Dragonmaid that actually make them incredibly consistent and powerful and give them not only a negate on the field for a card effect, but a bounce with spheres and a full monster negate as well. Probably guess what it is by now. Anyway, before we get started, thank you all to everyone that has listened to our podcast so far. If you haven't, please check that out in the link in the description below. It's a lot of fun. We're just laid back chatting about Yugioh. We take you through Market Watch. We take you through like Eldritch is our main topic. And the more and more popular this gets, the more and more hype we'll get behind it in order to be bringing you on a more regular basis as well. So you can listen to it as you chill, work out, do test hands, or even go to sleep to it as well. So, with that being said, please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on anything. With that said and done, let's get on to today's profile of Spicy Dragonmaids. So, yes, I know when Donald does this, he does use the anime reference. I haven't watched the anime, I do not know what reference these Dragonmaids have, but I know they are based off on an anime. I have taken this in a different spin. I have made these more aggressive. The dragon side of this really intrigued me. And the whole changing in the battle phase kind of really intrigued me as well, because it was kind of like Gladiator Beast, but not as, like, more powerful, because they bounced in at the start of the damage battle stage and bounced out at the end, whereas the Gladiator Beast bounced out at the end, so you didn't really get the full swing of damage in. However, with that being said, let me take you through this profile, show you exactly what we've got. Now we start off with a double chamber Dragonmaid. Personally, I don't think you need it at more than two, especially in this build. It's a very good card. They're sitting at about 25 to 30 quid here in the UK at the moment. Obviously, America's going to be a little bit different because you don't have the set yet, but you can still order in from the UK and Europe as well. If this card is normal or special summoned, you add one Dragonmaid spell or trap from your deck to your hand. At the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand and special summon a level 7 or higher Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. So the idea of this behind it is really good because you search out your fusion spell. 9 times out of 10 you'd be sending it with Parla and then bringing it back. But with this one you can also search out which one is it? Hospitality, which allows you to special summon a Dragonmaid from the hand. So it gives you a bit more consistency, allows you to extend. In this build, it's definitely not needed at more than two. I don't think it's even needed at more than two in a full build, unless you're going pure. You've got double nurse. Now I actually cut this down. You could bump it up if you wanted to. It really depends on the way you want to play this version of the deck. So if it's normal special, you target a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster in your graveyard and then special summon it. This one tags out for a level 7 Dragonmaid monster as well. It serves two purposes. Its Earth attribute is very important in this deck. And arguably what you can do is, you'll see when I go down to it, is I actually play two, I'm going to show you now. I play two of the Urnus, which is the dragon form of Nurse. Now you can actually cut this down to one and put Nurse back up to 3, because they both kind of serve the same purpose in the sense that the way this build works, you're actually putting a lot of your dragons into the graveyard, which is great because you don't actually neg anything with these in the graveyard because they can actually bring themselves back out of the grave. And then putting certain Dragonmaid monsters into the graveyard is great as well because then it makes Nurse more live turn 1. So you could arguably bump her up. Ernest is the dragon that you play the most of. At 2 is because it's a quick effect, discard it, especially on a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid from your hand. So again, gives you extensions. For the rest of the maids, we've got triple Parla. So this is the one that sends, if it's normal or special, you send a Dragonmaid card from your deck to your graveyard, and this bounces out for level 8 dragon. And then you've got Kitchen, triple of this. If it is normal, you add. It seems that every Rota card, every Rota monster is always going to be the expensive chase card, and unfortunately, Dragonmaid Kitchen was the short printed one as well, so it's chased even more so. Here's your Rota. She bounces up for level 8s, and you basically just get to add a Dragonmaid monster. So that is why she is so important, and it's why she is so expensive as well. Then for the last of the Dragonmaids, we do play the one Yugioh and the one Lopar. Lopar is more important, so you discard this card, target one face-up monster on the field. Players cannot activate that target's effects until the end on the field this turn. It's a shame it's not a quick effect. If it was a quick effect, it'd be even better, but because it's not a quick effect, it's kind of why Lopar doesn't get abused more so. Yugioh, you don't actually have to play it, but it is a discard, target one monster in the graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. Again, if it was quick effect, it would be better. But with this one, we actually need at least one water monster in the deck just to give us a bit more synergy and reasoning. It can easily be cut out if you wish. When you see the second engine that I play in this deck, you'll understand why I've put it in here. But of all the ones to hit the chopping block first, this would probably be the one you do it to. So for the sporting cast, we've got double Debris Dragon. Not a lot of people play this, I understand it, because it can't make level 8 synchros, and the level 6s and 7s we have isn't great. But the way I see this is you normal summon this. It also acts as another nurse, but it is a tuner as well. So it gives you the option for synchro plays. If you wanted to, you could actually put in Needle Fiber in this engine, because you go Debris, special summon one bat, and then link into Needle. But the way we're using this is you go Debris, target one of your Dragonmaids in graveyard, bring it back, link into the Heavenly Spheres. And then you have the synchro options if you want to. So entirely up to you. I don't play it, but you can play the brand new Crocosaur. If you already have a Dragonmaid monster on board and in play, combo off with Debris. As long as the other material isn't a 4, which is fine, you can actually use Debris, a level 3 Dragonmaid, and level 2, go into either Trish or Crocosaur, and they give you another level 9 for your next engine, which I'll show you in a minute. We've then got the one Tempest, Wind monster. We've got a lot of Wind attributes in this deck as well. Discard this to the graveyard, and one other, and then add a Dragon monster from your deck. Nice. And then banish a total of 2 Wind monsters or Dragon monsters from your hand or graveyard and special summon this card. So it just gives you another Dragon back onto the board for free. The Realized Darkness Mail. This is one of the few decks that actually doesn't care about its errata. You don't abuse the living heck out of it. You do just enough with it that even with the errata, you can technically play this build right now with its errata and it does just as well. So wouldn't worry about it at all. And then of course the spicy engine, the power play, the defensive play, the offensive play that you can actually combo with this deck is of course True Kings. Now, why are you playing True Kings, I hear you shout? Well, House Dragonmaid is a level 9 synergy. You have Wind, Water, Fire and Earth in the Dragonmaid deck already. Synergy. Your big dragons are a bit of a brick if you open them. So being able to send them to the graveyard with your True King means you're not actually negating or negging a lot. Then you also get to set up your nurse plays a lot more consistently. Your kitchen can search you out the attribute that you might be missing in order to get a True King to the board. True Kings give you access to VFD, so it gives you an incredible first turn knockout that gets past stuff like Dark Rule and No More. Dark Rule and No More is going to be mained, is going to be sided in heavily, so being able to go standby phase, trigger, and actually make your VFD lock your opponent down, and then they Dark Ruler anyway, you just go, whatever, you're locked out for a turn. I haven't put all my resources into this board, I've actually been able to hold quite a lot back, and I've got my Dragonmaids in the graveyard that can help me out later on as well. A lot of synergy working for it, a lot of level 9s, and it just lets you work a little bit better. We've then got 2 True King Agamazuds because Wind is the highest represented attribute in this deck. Fire is the second highest attribute. Actually no, technically it's the third. Your second is your True King Lithosagan, which is your Earths. Now, being able to pop this, revive one from the graveyard, or special summon it using 2 Earth and rip your opponent's extra deck apart is beautiful. Like, you absolutely have to love it. Agamazud you can actually resolve quite a lot, especially if you put Ash in here. You can resolve its second effect a lot more consistently. And then the one, Barastos. Now, Barastos, 9 out of 10, you actually want to destroy it as the other part of the True Kings, and that gives you an instant 1-card VFD. Or technically it's 2 cards, but the way it would work is you have like 3, sorry, is you'd actually have like, let's say if we've got Agamazud, we've got Barastos, and we've got Kitchen. You would use Agamazud, pop this, pop Kitchen, off you go. Down comes Agamazud, Barastos special summons one from the deck, and you go from there. Now, arguably with that, Kitchen could actually search you out another monster, and it just lets you go that little bit further.
So it works, a lot of synergy, very, very strong power plays. Being able to consistently VFD your opponent is always going to give you a massive edge. And the one downside that it has is being targeted with like imperms. So, but if you can back that up during the main phase with, let me just check it, the new Dragonmaid, when it activates a card or effect, you negate the activation if you do destroy it. So you back this up alongside your VFD, this effect protects your VFD. And then if they want to Dark Ruler you, you've already VFD'd, so you've already done the job that you need to do. The only thing you're then going to lose is you're then going to lose your spheres if they've Dark Rulered you, and you're going to get your House Dragonmaid back. And it's like if they don't get rid of your House Dragonmaid because they can't attack because they're under VFD, your House Dragonmaid's just going to bring out a Dragonmaid during the standby phase. So you really, really play around Dark Ruler no more. You even play around evenly matched because you just go, alright, well VFD's done its job, I'll just leave my House Dragonmaid on board, or I'll leave my spheres on board. Really whatever you want to keep on. You've just got a lot to play around. Moving on to the spells, the one downside of the True Kings is that Diagram is at 1. So in order to try and make the consistency a little bit better for my stuff like Set Rotation and Terraform, because I want to get to it as soon as I possibly can, I've put in the one Mystic Mine, going second. I want to go first with this deck, but if I'm forced to go second or if I brick, being able to drop a Mystic Mine on my opponent gives me enough time to get back into shape of what I need. Backing this up, again, another way to protect your VFD is the magical mid-breaker field. Now this not only protects your VFD, it also protects your other monsters as well. So it gives them a bit back. Now you don't have to play this. The more logical one is Dragon's Ravine. But 9 out of 10 out of all of these cards, off a set rotation, the only one you really want to give your opponent is Dragon's Ravine. Like, I mean, you've got to be careful with your mid-breaker field because you can't activate or set field spells. So this wants to be like one of the last things you do, or after you've already set up your board and you don't care about these three, that's when you drop the mid-breaker field. The only other good time when mid-breaker field is helpful to give to your opponent is neither player can set or activate field spells. So, sorry, you cannot activate. So you have to be able to play around. You give them mid-breaker field, they have to then get rid of it with another one of their field spells. They're not going to activate it. So you give them one of these two, and they're probably your best lockouts to give. The mid-breaker is a bit risky, which is why you can actually consider taking it out. But it's definitely something that I've found works in this deck, just because I want the consistency of the set rotation and terraforming. I want to get to my diagram. The only thing I don't want to give my opponent is Mystic Mine. So I just want the consistency to go for the field spell. Luckily, with this deck, because you play so many True Kings, you don't actually have to worry about the consistency of diagram too much, because as long as you open up 2 True Kings, 9 out of 10 with the rest of the Dragonmaid, you've got enough to get the attribute you need in order to get their plays going. So set rotation, again, if you're on a cushion, you're like, I want to put imperms in, I want to put ashes in, heck, I even want to put in like Tracer Dragon, which you can easily do. You take out debris, you take out the set rotation, you can minimize your field spell kind of count, and then kind of balance it out back that way. Then of course we've got triple Dragonmaid Hospitality. You can only use it as hard once per turn, but you basically get to special summon a dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, and then you can send a Dragonmaid monster. So again, it just fills up your graveyard with your big levels, so you're not going to brick on them, put them where you need to be. The only downside is if it gets called by the Graveyard Ash, that's when it not called by the Graveyard Ash, sorry, called by the Graveyard DD Crowed, that's where it sucks, because you're filling up your graveyard with your big monsters for a reason, and they're the cards that will really pick you apart. Now, I wanted to control my extra deck a lot more, so I went with Desires over Extravagance. You can play Extravagance if you're like, right, I'll show you the options we have in the extra deck when we get to it, but if you're like, right, okay, I only really want to play like 3 of those, like I only really want 3 of my Negate Dragon, which you don't really need at 3 Dragon, House Dragonmaid, and 3 VFD, then you can play Extravagance. It gives you a little bit more consistency, you don't lose it in the main deck, but like I said, there's a couple of cards in here that you're like, doesn't matter if it gets banished, I'm playing 3s of them anyway, I've got enough consistency to go, so Desires is the next best alternative to Extravagance. I then got 2 World Legacy Guard Dragon. You can probably easily play this at 3. It is hard once per turn, but when it's activated, you target a level 4 or lower dragon in your graveyard and add it to your hand, or special summon it, which are your Dragonmaids. You can target 1 dragon monster you control in your monster zone and move it, so that gives you your LP and Pits plays as well, and that's where the consistency goes for the Dragon Link combos as well. Then for the last ones, we've got the 1 Monster Reborn, the one Dragon's Mirror, and the one Dragonmaid changeover. Now, arguably, if you wanted to, I currently don't, you could try like a stronger fusion card, like a Super Poly or something like that, and then use Verti Anaconda. But Dragon's Mirror, I think, is a really underrated card, because what I'm trying to show you guys here is that with House Dragonmaid, you fusion summon House Dragonmaid. This isn't a hard once per turn. It's only a hard once per turn to add it back. So the idea is, you play this, if you search this off of Chamber, you play this, you fusion into your Dragonmaid. Dragonmaid is a level 9, so all you need to do is get one more of your True Kings on board, then you overlay this into VFD. Then if you want to, you can detach this for VFD for this turn, just so that you can activate this again. Or if you have this, you activate this, banishing your Dragonmaid, your House Dragonmaid in graveyard, and then you get easier access to this as well. So it really depends on the route you're going for, but it works really, really nicely, and the synergy is actually quite scary of how powerful it can be together. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, as you've already seen a sneak peek of it. Because I want to control it, we do play 2 House Dragonmaids. Because we are using this as a VFD fodder, as well as its fodder to come off of the brand new Yugioh. So the idea behind this is the Dragonmaid is VFD fodder, and it's also there to get its extension plays and be a boss monster for you. The brand new one in Yugioh is insane. So it requires 1 Dragonmaid monster and 1 level 5 or higher dragon monster. But on top of that, during each standby phase, you special on 1 level 9 or lower monster from your hand or graveyard. Now it has to be a Dragonmaid, which is absolutely fine, but it does allow you to get your bigger boss monsters on board. It also allows you to get some of your lower levels back on board, and then they can trigger their effects again. You special summon, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Also, after that, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special on 1 House Dragonmaid from the extra deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Now, it is mandatory to shuffle it back if you negate. So keep that in mind. You do lose a boss monster, and you go into the Dragonmaid, House Dragonmaid. But then if House Dragonmaid stays on the board, you're going to get something during the standby phase anyway. So, and like I said, comboing off with Yugioh, you're recycling it to the extra deck, so you can use it again if you want to. The issue is, I believe, let me just check it. I believe they all have to be 1 effect. Now, don't quote me on this, I have to check myself, but what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have a House Dragonmaid in the extra deck, I don't know if you can actually negate. So keep that in mind. But the way is, you're just going to go House Dragonmaid, Yugioh back in, game. That you should be able to finish the game off. You're supposed to be going VFD, protect with Yugioh. Yugioh goes into House Dragonmaid. House Dragonmaid special summons 1, bring out another Yugioh. You've got 1 Dragonmaid left, overlay into VFD with this one, and then you go House Dragonmaid, and you've won the game from there. So that is something to ask. If you guys know, then please let me know. Do you need a House Dragonmaid in the extra deck in order to activate and resolve Yugioh? I assume you do, but I could be wrong. Anyway, moving on to the synchros. The only 2 synchros you play which can easily be cut is Black Rose and Coral Dragon. Now, because we don't play Tracer, again, you can easily put Tracer in here. I would take him out for the decoy. I just really like decoy. 6, full board nuke, and then a discard pop, and then if it is sent from field to the graveyard, you draw 1 card. And it is a water, so you can use it as Barastos fodder, and this can also be used as Agamazoo fodder if it stays on the board. Moving on to the XYZs, I'll do the links last. Now again, these you do not have to play, these are just options. So I'm trying to show you as many options in the extra deck that you possibly have, and then you adapt it to your personal playstyle. So if you're like, exactly like I said with the extravagance, you're like, I only want to play 3 Yugioh, 3 House Dragonmaid, I want to play 3 VFD, that's it. The other remaining 6 cards can be whatever you want. So you've got the 1 9 Lives Cat, the 1 Infinite Track Earth Slicer, the 1 Phantom Fortress Enter Balafnia, and the 1 True King of All Calamities. Now, the reason I've kept all of these in here, this deals with back row, and then when it destroys an opponent's monster, you get to attach it as material. VFD is VFD, full board shutdown. Enter Balafnia, if you were to put Trish in here as well, you technically combo into this, you rip 2 from your opponent's hand, which is quite nice. And then you've got the 9 Lives Cat. Now what I like about this is your opponent cannot target other monsters you control that was special summoned from the graveyard with card effects. Now Dragonmaid's special summon from the graveyard with card effects if you put your dragon in there in the first place. So it basically means that during the battle phase your opponent can't go imperm and then they can't tag out.
It also means that they've got a bit more protection themselves during the battle phase. And like, for example, Borosword can't target it to shift it to defense as a random example. So it's quite nice. You can also detach one material from this card, then target one level 9 monster in your graveyard or one monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it. This can revive your House Dragonmaid. Nice. It can also take away one card that is critical to your opponent in the graveyard. Now luckily it doesn't special summon it in defense position, so you can steal their link monsters too and link climb should you wish. It is a nice option. It is a 3300 defender, and that's mainly what it's going to do, is defend for you. So you only really want to be going into one of these two cards first. And the only reason we would go with this one is to bring back another level 9. So you can actually make this, bring back another level 9. If you've got another level 9 on board, you can make this as well, now that we're no longer stuck under MR4. And your board has got a 9 lives cat that protects stuff that's being brought back from the graveyard. And if your opponent doesn't clear it, it's going to start stealing from their graveyard as well. Or bring back the materials you're detaching off of VFD. So it actually works really, really nicely with the deck. Then onto the link monsters. Of course, for the dragon combo, you've got the 1 LP, the 1 Pitsty, and the 1 Hieratic Seals. Now, like I said, being able to end your board on Hieratic Seal plus a VFD plus a Shoe. Shoe gives you a negate for any card. VFD shuts down your opponents, I mean they can't attack either. And then Spheres can bounce a card. If they will go set pass, you go Spheres, bounce it, get rid of that crap. Ain't nobody won that here, get rid of it. And then off you go. So you've got the Holy Trinity there. You've then got the 1 Dragonite Knight of Romulus. This card is insane, so good. It does search you out your Dragon's Ravine. If you wanted to put in a Dragonite engine, you could. I really don't see the need for it in this particular build, but it is a very, very good link too. And then the Spice that I play, and I really, really like this card, is the Bujinke Amishima. Now the reason this is Spice is because with your Debris Dragon, it says the other monster can't be a level 4 for the Synchro Summon. So if you bring back Chamber, you'd link these two into Amishima. If you've got a level 9 in the graveyard, straight away you special summon a level 9 from your hand and special summon a level 9 from the graveyard, and it gives you a VFD. So if your board, for example, was you've got, let's say, 2 True Kings, and you've had to pop one of the other True Kings to get it to the graveyard. So let's say you popped a True King and a Chamber Dragonmaid, put them in the graveyard, right? You've then got 1 level 9 on board. You go, that's fine, I've got another level 9 in hand, I've got 1 in grave, but I've got no way of bringing it out of my hand. You normal summon your Debris. Debris brings back Chamber. You link those two into Amishima. Amishima's effect triggers, bringing back the level 9 you've just destroyed from your first level 9 and the other level 9 that's bricked in your hand. Straight into a VFD. That's all you need. Now, that's just a very, very rare example, but it's why I really like this card. You see that I don't play any Link Freeze, so if you don't like this tech, that's something you can swap it out for. Last card we play is the Borosword, because it is your game winner. Now you don't have to play him, because you should have enough if you lock your opponent down with a VFD and you back it up with a Shoe and a House Dragonmaid as well. However, sometimes it hits the fan. So if your board does get cleared, but you have the ability to rebuild it, Borosword is one that gives you the OTK potential. On top of this, if you wanted to, you do play a couple of level 7s, you could put a Red Ice Flare into the deck. I personally wouldn't right now with this build, because I'm focusing with the True King Powerhouse to back up the functionality of the Dragonmaid monsters and abuse the different attributes that they share. Now, with that said and done, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope it's given you a couple of little tech ideas for yourself. I'm not saying this is the perfect build. This is just an alternative build that gives Dragonmaids another angle to go for. Now you can go for the Dragon Links with your Dragoonity monsters plus your Rocket monsters and the Rocket engine as a whole. You can go for a pure Dragonmaid, but then they still need some form of support unless you're going to fill it up with the spells and traps that they play. And then of course you've got the True King one, which abuses the living heck out of their attributes. So it kind of works very, very nicely, and there's a lot of synergy that works towards it as well. Anyway,
I hope you like this. I hope this helps. I hope this gave you a couple of ideas. Like I said, please check out our podcast. Let us know what you think on it as well. We are pushing to get it onto iTunes and Spotify, and hopefully by the time this video drops, it will be on there for you to listen to and enjoy. Take it with you while we're in this period of lockdown. And if it does well after the period of lockdown, you can also listen to it on your morning travels and of course your evening travels. And like I said, listen to it as you go to sleep, relax and chill as well. For now, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And as always, guys, happy dueling. So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.